hostess with the most, Jennifer, as always. Welcome back. So we are continuing our Halloween franchise review. We are going to go ahead and talk about Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. Yes, it truly is a return because in the previous sequel, we didn't have Michael Myers because Michael Myers technically died in part 2. He was burnt and crispy. He was dead. But somehow he miraculously, survived and is now a ward of the state, basically, and is in, a hospital bed, chained to a hospital bed, cause, yeah, let's not put him in jail or anything for, killing a bunch of people. Whatever, though. So, no, but this one is a really good sequel. This is probably, of the sequels in Halloween, for me, probably my favorite Halloween sequel. Yes, I mean, even as much as I do, kind of enjoy, Halloween 3 and everything, but that's still really not a Halloween movie, in the grand scope of things. This one, though, for me, just all around, and I don't know if it's because, I was, I grew up around this time and everything, I was 4 when this movie came out back in 1988, and this one always kind of felt like a real Halloween movie. It always, gave me the feeling of Halloween. I love the beginning credits of this movie, just that kind of, almost wind blowing a little bit, and just the shots and everything, and, the sun setting. It just has that feel of Halloween. Every time I watch this, even the other day when I was watching this, or yesterday, I should say, before work, it feels like Halloween. It makes me feel like it's Halloween. It has that feel and everything. It's done really well. I really do enjoy it. Plus, this movie introduces us to Danielle Harris, who we all know who Danielle Harris is. She's, one of our top scream queens and everything. She does a lot of horror movies. And she's very open about doing horror movies and everything. She loves doing horror movies. Hi, little cardinal. Sorry, there's a cardinal out on my tree today. What the hell? He's just checking me out. Anyway, you guys don't care. She is, I was saying, Danielle Harris is very open about really enjoy doing horror movies because she says they're more fun to do. There's so much fun to do and everything. That's something I love about her. She takes great pride in doing horror movies and everything, kind of knows, really is aware that she is a very beloved actress among the horror group and everything, so, yeah. Unfortunately, though, for those of you who may or may not know, because I know she, did this, Halloween 5, and then a few years later did a few episodes of Roseanne, and, because of, doing kind of, these movies and everything, she kind of got, this stalker and everything. I'm not sure if she still has issues with him, but I know she's had quite a number of years there where, this guy was just, always kind of following her and creeping up on her and stuff, showing up to her house and everything. Very, very scary. So thankfully, she's still a very dedicated actress and everything, and is very much part of the horror community and everything, even with that, disturbing, creeper and everything. But anyway, back to Halloween 4. So Halloween 4, as I was saying, I really do enjoy this one. Even though we couldn't get Jamie Lee Curtis back to reprise her role as Laurie Strode, in a way, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because, how many times, I know we're getting another Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween coming up later this year. We had H2O and everything, and Resurrection. Not taking anything away from Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, she is pretty much this franchise, her, Michael, and Donald Pleasance really are this franchise, and even Danielle Harris, but I'm kind of glad that they couldn't get her back, couldn't get Jamie Lee Curtis back, and then had to use Danielle Harris because, I mean, once again, it's Danielle freaking Harris. Come on. But story-wise, though, I think if they would have done that, if they would have had another Jamie Lee Curtis movie, another installment, I think it really would have been just, really, again, I think it really would have gotten a lot more tiresome with that story and everything. So instead, we have Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, who is Laurie Strode's daughter. Laurie Strode, 11 months before the events in part 4, apparently died in a car crash. So, although we find out later on in the series that really didn't happen. But this is really kind of where I feel like even more continuity issues and errors and everything really then kind of, after this, really kind of fall apart. I know I feel like part 1 you kind of start getting some of that, but after this, just with all these weird like timelines and everything, like it kind of really goes downhill after this with like timelines and everything. I mean, at this point, I feel like, especially with like the new movie coming out, I feel like the Halloween series is pretty much kind of like those choose your own adventure books that we had growing up as kids. It's kind of like choose your own storyline to go ahead and watch. I'm just saying. But no, but still, even though with that being said, once again, I still really enjoy Halloween 4. It still got some like solid scenes and everything. Like I said, it feels like a Halloween movie. It makes you feel like it's Halloween and everything. It gives you that Halloween feeling and everything. So, in this one, this Halloween is definitely kind of like the equivalent to Friday 13th Part 4 New Blood, where, you know, we have Corey Feldman's character, who we kind of think is going to be the next Jason. Very similar to this. Halloween 4 kind of was setting it up for Danielle Harris's character, Jamie, to kind of pick up where Michael left off. So it seemed like they were going to try and maybe kill off Michael again and do, you know, kind of a Friday 13th, even though Friday 13th didn't really go for it, do something where Jamie is now like the new Michael. It's been passed on to her. I kind of wish they would have done that, but of course, I think with the whole debacle of number 3, they kind of were like, we can't really do that. So once again, we get recycled with more Michael Meyers sequels and everything, because we're a bunch of whiny little bitches and we ruined another franchise by complaining about Halloween 3. Just saying, we need to stop complaining about this shit. I'm just saying. Sorry, I am feisty today. But no, it's, you know, they do kind of allude to that in a few scenes of the movie and everything, where number 1 is where Jamie's picking out the Halloween costume because she now wants to actually go trick-or-treating. And that's the other thing, her foster sister, Rachel, played by Ellie Cornell, you know, like, she has to babysit Jamie. She's like, hey, let's go trick-or-treating. And Jamie's kind of like, oh, I don't want to go trick-or-treating. And, you know, it's kind of rightfully so that she doesn't really want to go trick-or-treating, because with her family's experience with Halloween, at least with her mom when she was alive, probably was kind of like, we're not going trick-or-treating, you do not need to go trick-or-treating, blah, blah, blah. So probably just automatically has, like, bad feelings towards Halloween and everything. But, yeah, she doesn't really want to go trick-or-treating, then changes her mind. She's picking out a little, like, outfit at the little local pharmacy and everything, and what do you know, she pretty much picks out the exact same clown outfit that her uncle, 20-some years ago at this point, like, ended up, like, killing his sister in. So I'm just saying, plus, what do you know, Michael's there trying to pick out his little Halloween costume, and ends up getting another mask. Like, seriously, I would have thought that this town would have, like, burned all these masks and wouldn't let any more masks come in. I'm just saying, like, why would you let people wear these types of masks 10 years later after a freaking massacre? God, get your shit together, Haddonfield. I'm just saying. Illinois is very picky about shit like that. I'm just saying. They wouldn't have allowed that mask. Just saying. But you know, there's that. What else is there? There's the scene where, towards the end, where Michael's been shot and everything, and Jamie goes up and holds Michael's hand, her uncle's hand and everything, and then even like the closing scenes of Jamie in the clown getup and everything, stabs her foster mom and everything. So yeah, definitely setting it up to sort of carry on the torch and everything. And I know even in part 5, they still almost kind of like allude to that, like that's still a possibility, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But no, I mean, like Jamie's character is very much kind of similar, I would imagine, how Lori's upbringing was, especially after she was adopted and everything. Kind of like seeing that almost sort of, in a way, almost like a background story in a way for Jamie Lee Curtis's character of like, okay, well, this is kind of like what would have happened, almost like killing two birds with one stone with that and everything. But no, I mean, I kind of like that. I know it's a little like, even though it's a little like problematic for future installments and everything, especially with like their timelines and everything, I do kind of like that they did end up having like Jamie be like his niece and everything, carrying on the story and all that, and making kind of like tying it in where, okay, you know, another family member got to go after her. Because I think if they would have just had like random ones, wouldn't work as well, you know? I feel like they kind of did that with 6, and I'll get to that too. Then again, I have to really kind of rewatch 6, so. But it's like, yeah, I like that they did kind of keep it within like that, like, Jamie Lee Curtis sort of connection, the Laurie Strode connection, everything. Now it's her daughter, her little like 7-year-old daughter and stuff. But whatever. But no, I mean, this is a, you know, like I said, it's not like a terrible sequel. It's probably my favorite one that of the bunch of the sequels. But whatever. And you know, another thing though, like if she's adopted, once again, why would you let her remain in Haddonfield? Why, first off, why was Laurie Strode still living in Haddonfield? I'm assuming she was still living in Haddonfield when she passed away. Like, what the what? Really? Really? Come on. You know, but no, seriously, especially too, knowing that Michael Meyers was still alive all these years later and everything, like, why wouldn't you just, like, move her to, like, I don't know, Asia or something? How the hell would he get to Asia? I don't know. Or, you know, better yet, why don't we send her to space? Oh, wait, no, this was still the 80s, never mind. We weren't sending shit to space yet. Space was coming to us. Anyway, but no, I mean, that's kind of one of those things, too, where I'm like, why don't you still keep this girl, this bloodline of Myers/Strode in Haddonfield, Illinois? Like, really, like, anyone else have an issue with that, or is it just me? I don't know, maybe it's just me, I don't know, whatever, but yeah, no, sorry, total brain parts. But no, I mean, this is probably one of the better, like I said, one of the better sequels and everything. You know, we still have Donald Pleasance, who is, you know, running around trying to get Michael and everything. You know, is always trying to, like, you know, is always one step ahead of, like, the authorities and everything, and, you know, they all think he's trying to, like, or he's, like, a crazy loot and everything. Whatever. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I just thought of, the little, like, love triangle between Brady, Rachel, and, what's her name, Kelly, the cop's daughter. So yeah, we have a little love triangle thing, which, part of me, I do kind of like that, because, I mean, you know, little teenage love triangles, you know, I don't mind it so much, but at the same time, there is a part of me that I'm like, really, like, once again, I just feel like this is definitely falling into its own traps of, like, the tropes, the horror tropes we now officially have, and is in full gear at this point, where, you know, you have Brady and Kelly kind of, like, doing a little, like, side thing together, you know, because Brady's all upset that Rachel had to babysit his sister, so he's banging the next thing. So basically, you know, with that little, like, horror trope, they both had to die because they're both scummy ass people. I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of weird, because, I mean, we had, like, a little bit of, like, not like a love triangle in the first one, but we definitely knew of, um Laurie's like love interest and everything. This one they were just kind of like, hey, let's go ahead and introduce a little love interest. I mean, I even like in parts two, it was a little bit of like a love interest with Laurie, the ambulance driver and stuff. But even then, it wasn't like the soap opera element that it is in part four. And then, of course, like I said, both Kelly and Brady get killed. Um, Rightfully so, because you know what, they're pieces of shit. Although I do give this one credit because it does, even though it does kind of fall into that, like, sort of like trope, the typical horror cliches, like, oh, they did something bad, and, one was unfaithful, and the other's just a slut, they have to die. They still kind of keep it where, they're just both in Michael's way of trying to get to Jamie, so they both gotta die. So, I mean, they do kind of keep it more still true to that Halloween aspect and everything, but whatever. But no, honestly, part four still a pretty solid sequel and everything. Still really enjoy it, even though Michael's back, even though he was burnt to a crisp in part two and really should not even be back in another sequel. Whatever. Do you guys think that maybe we should have had Jamie take over as the next killer in part five? Or do you guys just think, like, more Michael all the time? What do you guys think? I honestly would have liked to have seen that. I would have, or even if they're both coexisting in this little, like, slasher universe. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen that. Let me know what you guys think of that idea. Let me know your thoughts on Halloween 4. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.